AJ Mighty here. Welcome back to week 4 of the 6-part training for new real estate agents. In this video, we're going to be talking about time blocking the perfect day for a real estate agent. Let's go. Alright, so far in week 1 we talked about really where should you be getting your advice from. In week 2 we talked about should you be a listing agent, a buyer's agent, what should you be focused on. Week 3 we talked about lead generating activities, which type should you focus on, which one's a good fit for you. So by now you should know exactly A, where you're getting your advice, your coaching from, B, are you going to focus on listings or buyers, and 3, what types of lead generation activities are you going to focus on. So now it's time at last to develop the perfect schedule for a real estate agent. We need to time block those activities into your schedule. And when I say perfect schedule for a real estate agent, you know, it's like it's the ideal, you know, every day is not going to happen like that. However, what you want to do is you want to plan out your day on paper of what it should look like every single day, and it really shouldn't vary that much, but every single day it should be like your ideal day. And of course things are going to come up, you'll get off track a little bit here and there, but you want to have a blueprint of what the successful day looks like for you. What I found out early on in my real estate career is that discipline equals freedom. Discipline equals success. It's kind of counterintuitive. You know, a lot of real estate agents, they actually get into real estate to not have a boss anymore, to have freedom over their schedule, to be able to do what they want. And what happens a lot of the times is because of those freedoms, without the discipline, they end up not really making any money and go back to what they were doing before, which is having a boss, which you have to sometimes ask to go on vacation. Like, that's not cool. I'm all about freedom. I want you to succeed in real estate. To be a grown person and have to ask somebody when you're gonna take time off, if you can leave early to pick up a sick kid from work, like, man, that just like in my core like goes against everything I believe. So I'm passionate about this topic. I'm passionate about your freedom, and your freedom starts with discipline. So please, I know this topic isn't the most exciting, you know, time blocking, like who wants to really like talk about that, but like it is what your real estate career is gonna rise and fall on. I promise you that. So let's get into it. So you've decided which lead generation activities you're going to focus on. So I'm just going to use my example because my example is what I did to succeed at a high level in this business. So for me, I'll just go through what my perfect day looked like, and then we'll talk about what yours could look like. So for me, I was like, you know what? I need like extreme focus on one lead generation activity, and you should have that same focus, because the truth of the matter is one lead generation activity, you can easily sell 24 to 36 houses a year on that one activity before doing anything else. So let's start with that. So I said for me it was going to be expireds. I said expireds because it was low cost and it was the fastest way to get listings. I needed to make money now. We know with expireds they're ready to sell because their house just failed to sell. So that's what I picked. So to develop a good ideal schedule for that, what I discovered was I needed to actually be working on my skill set. You know, in real estate it's so funny. We have the opportunity to earn as much money as a lot of, you know, professional athletes. I think the average or the minimum wage for the NFL it used to be I think 250 grand a year, now it's 400. Either way, as a real estate agent, you can make that type of wage. You know, I've done it. So, but we don't want to practice our skills. We don't want to practice for the game. You know, what do athletes do? They practice all week long, 8 hours a day, whatever it is. I was never a professional athlete, but they practice hard and they study and they practice and they study and they practice. And then they perform on Sunday if it's the NFL, you know, for a couple hours. But they practice all week for that moment. But in real estate, we get some leads, we decide we're just gonna call them and say whatever comes to mind. Like, that is not the right way to do it. So we gotta practice, right? So 7:45 a.m. I was on the phones with a script practice partner, and we would role play our scripts only for 15 minutes. If you want to do 30 minutes, even better, but I did 15 minutes. So from 7:45 to 8, I was role playing. If you want to start role playing, there's a lot of great Facebook groups you can do it. You can join my Facebook group, links in the comments, and you can find role play partners in there. So this is the format for role playing. Partner A goes first. He or she says their script. You're giving them objections, they're handling them back and forth, and then you always let them set the appointment, because that's how you practice. You want to always get the appointment, so you're going to practice that way. However, be kind of tough, throw some objections, be tough, this is real play, so be tough, but always, at the end, give them some positive feedback and some things they can work on. Positive feedback, things they did good, something they can work on. All right, so that's 15 minutes. I went, they went, and I did that 5 days a week. And I typically had 2 to 4 different role play partners, but I was doing it 5 days a week. 8 a.m., I was on the phones. 8 to 10, I was calling outbound expireds. That's it. A text came in, email came in, I didn't even know, because I wasn't on my phone, I wasn't in my email, right? The way I wasn't on my phone is I was using Mojo Dialer. I was connected to my computer, my phone was away from me, on airplane mode, whatever, so I wasn't distracted. Okay, so 8 to 10, it doesn't matter, you gotta be so focused on your ideal daily schedule that it's crazy. Seriously, this is no joke. If a client was calling me, let's just say I was on break for a minute, because I'd take 10 minutes break after a 50-minute call session. If I saw a message pop up, I wouldn't answer it, because to me, it doesn't matter if their house was burning down. Yeah, of course it matters, I would not want that to happen, but I'm the wrong person to call. You call the fire department, you call 911, you don't call me. So I can handle that call after my time block, because 8 to 11 was blocked off. But 8 to 10 was strictly outbound calls. From 10 to 11 was lead follow-up. Typically lead follow-up would be 10 to 10:30, and then from 10:30 to 11, I would return any incoming calls that may have come in from a prospect during that time. So it was 3 hours of good, focused lead generation. When you're focused like that, using the right tools, you should be able to talk to 8 to 10 people an hour. That's pretty good. And then after that, that takes us to 11 to 12, I would reply to emails, texts, whatever else came through. If I had some clients I needed to call, that's what I would do during that time. 12 to 12:30, take lunch. 12:30 to 1, I would typically, relax, maybe go for a walk, maybe work out, motivational videos, things like that, just stuff to give me energy again, keep me motivated. And then from 1 to 3 was admin. So admin could be sending out market reports, it could be preparing for appointments in the afternoon, whatever it might be, admin, negotiating contracts, which we love to do. And then from 3 to 6, that was time for listing appointments. And if I didn't have any listing appointments and I was behind on my goals, I would prospect more. So the year when I sold 36 houses, I went back to my Mojo stats at the end of the year, and I averaged 8 hours a week of outbound prospecting. 8 hours a week, that's not bad. You hear a lot of people coaching 4 to 6 hours a day. As a new agent, if you have nothing else to do, yeah, you should be doing that. But seriously, on a good focus, 2 hours a day, 8 hours a week of just outbound calls, you can make some serious income and have a great quality of life on that. That's why working sellers is my preference and what I recommend, because it's so much more leveraged. So then after 6, I'd be at home with family, my wife and my dogs. But it doesn't take a lot of time on nights and weekends when you're working listings. So that was really my ideal schedule. Yeah, sometimes a listing appointment went over maybe to 7 p.m., but that was really rare. Saturday morning, Sunday, I just didn't work. It was my time off. Offers waited till Monday. That's the type of lifestyle, that's the type of business that you can run when you're in control of your time. The person who puts the highest value on their time and ultimately makes it a priority, they're in control of it, they control their schedule, they're the one that gets their way in situations. If a seller asks, hey, can you come out on Saturday? Actually I can't this Saturday. How does Monday work? Does 4 or 6 p.m. work better? Does 4 or 5? Whatever, a trial close. In a very, very rare instance, maybe I'm talking about on one hand, I might go out on a Saturday morning. So that was my ideal schedule. I'm going to go ahead and just share a couple examples of what that might look like real quick. So for a buyer's agent, if that's what you're going to focus on, buyer lead gen, again, should still take place in the morning. I highly recommend you take and always do your lead generation in the morning, because that's when your energy is the highest. You know, your day's just gonna get away from you. If you wait till the afternoon to do it, you're probably not gonna do it. So first thing in the morning, do your lead gen, whether you're focused on buyers or sellers. And then if you're focused on buyers, the reality is you're probably gonna be showing them on some weekends and some nights. So maybe Mondays are blocked off for family and you're working every Saturday. Or maybe evenings are for showings, so the first 2 hours in the morning you're hanging out with your kids, and then your lead gen starts at say 10, whatever it might be. So there's some flexibility in there, but the homework for you is just to go ahead and write your ideal schedule. If you have questions on that, or if you want to share what yours is, post that in the comments. I'd love to see it. I'd love to give you some coaching on it. And again, I mentioned if you need role play partners to add that to your schedule, go to my Facebook group, link in comments. And also, please, if you're getting value from these, share this video with someone in your office. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit the alert bell. That way you get notified when new videos are coming out, because they're coming out every week. I'm having fun with it. I hope you are. So just keep tuning in and you're going to keep getting better and keep growing. Let's get it.